Assalamualaikum and hi. The topic that we are going to present is budgeting and budgetary control. Our group members consist of 5 members. The first one is Nur Husna Najwa binti Muhammad Syarul, 20233957119. The second one is Nur Fatih Syahira binti Rosli, 202339958 The third one is Nur Aisyah binti Khairul Nizam, 202318475. The fourth one is Sharifah Salwani binti Said Muhammad Nazir, 20233894221. And the last one is myself, Nur Alia Sabina binti Azman, 20233899483. The first thing that we are going to talk is about definition of budget. Budget is a detailed plan summarizing the financial consequences of an organization operating activities for a specific future time period or a plan of future activities with monetary implication. Budget is also a core component of an organization's planning and control system. Budget also defined as a financial model that summarizes future operations. There are 6 purposes of budget. The first one is planning annual operation. The second one is communicating plans to the various responsibility centers manager. The third one is coordinating the activities of the various parts of the organization and ensuring that the parts are harmony with each other. Next is controlling activities. The fifth one is evaluating the performance of managers. And the last one is motivate the managers to strive and achieve the organizational goals. Next is budgeting process. The first one is budget committee. The budgeting function is to ensure that budgets are established and they are coordinated satisfactorily. And the second one is effective budgeting. Sound organizational structure with clearly defined authority and responsibilities. It is a periodic review of budget with actual performance. The third one is budget period. The length of budget period varies, but the most common practice is 1 year. The last one is budget manual, the collection of instructions regarding the responsibilities of procedures preparing the budget. The next one is principal budget factor. The other term of it known as limiting budget factor when there is a short supply of key resources. The key resources that we are talking is included cash, raw material supply, labor or equipment. The early identification of these factors is important because it indicates which budget should be prepared first.
Next, forecasting techniques is a set of historical data that is used to make estimations and predictions to determine the future trends. This technique can be divided into 2 methods, which are cost predictions and time series analysis. Cost prediction is a method where historical data are being used at many activity level, which is being controlled at straight line relationship. In this method, there are 5 components, which is engineering approach, account analysis approach, scatter diagram, the height-low method, and the regression analysis. We can see that the engineering approach is the detailed analysis of cost behavior based on an industrial engineer's evaluations. And the second one, the account analysis approach, is a detailed process where the financial statements are being carefully examined. The scatter diagram splits the cost into 2, which is fixed and variable. And the height-low method is comparing the higher and the lower cost at every activity level. The regression analysis, the last one, is examining the relationship between 2 or more variables of interest in the cost prediction. Next one is time series analysis. This method is a compilation of data points that was measured at successive time. This method is being used to predict future value of the variables that are being used in the analysis. We can see that it is also to control the future events and to seasonally adjust the set of data. The main components of the time series analysis is long-term trend, cyclical variations, random variations, and seasonal variations. However, in this analysis, it is assumed that the evaluations of the past can predict the predictions for the future. And the limitation of this analysis are significant changes can quickly happen in the time series analysis. Secondly, financial figures will be affected by the changing price level in the market during this analysis.
There are 4 types techniques of budgeting. The first one is incremental budgeting. The second one is zero-based budgeting. The third one is rolling budget, and the last one is activity-based budgeting. For incremental budgeting, it is a traditional budgeting method whereby the budget is prepared by taking the current period's budget or actual performance as a base, with incremental amounts then being added for the new budget period. It is the quickest and easiest method. It carries the limitation of perpetuate past inefficiencies. The major disadvantage is a major part of the expense does not change, lack of justification, and efficiency. Zero-based budgeting. It is a budgeting technique where all expenses must be based on the new period or year starting from scratch as opposed to starting with a previous budget and adjusting it as needed. Each of the cost expense needs to be justified. The benefits are focused on operations, lower costs, budget flexibility, and strategic execution. Rolling budget. Rolling budget is continuously updated by adding a further accounting period, month or quarter, when the earliest accounting period has expired. The business will always have a budget that looks forward for one full year. It is normally broken down into 4 quarters or 3 months period. The last one is activity-based budgeting. It is a system that records, research, and analyzes activities that lead to costs for a company. It is concerned with what is being done within the organization, how those actions or activities work together, and then allocating funds to each activity based on how much it will cost to successfully complete those activities. There are 3 steps of preparing activity-based budgeting. The first step is cost drivers are identified for each activity. The second step is identifying non-value-added activities that can be estimated. The last step is if the incidence of the cost drivers can be reduced, the cost saving can be made.
Next, I will talk about the differences between feedback control and feed-forward control. The first one is feedback control. It is alter the process inputs based on prior performance. Next, it is a system employ error signal information to alter process inputs, and it may have a longer reaction time because they wait for the error indication before making changes. For feed-forward control, it is alter the process inputs depending on predicted future performance. It adjusts the process inputs based on knowledge about predicted circumstances, and it may have a faster reaction time because they foresee issues and change inputs before they happen. Moreover, the motivational control is encouraging employees to fulfill the aims of the organizations. Next, it is motivated personnel speed up processes on budget, and it is difficult but realistic employee objectives. The next one is about the behavioral control. Behavioral control is managing employee conduct to meet company objectives and ideals. It can fall into the categories of type of instructions given, degree of instructions, evaluation systems, and training. And for the last one that I will talk is about the ethical issues of budgeting control. Ethical issues of budgeting control is fair, transparent decision making. Next, it is budget restrictions imposed by top-level managements have little possibility of being met by subordinates, and the reporting budget outcomes ethically raise concerns.
Next, let's move on to limitations of budgeting. The first one is any step view into budget will provide for complacency on the part of employees and they might not perform up to their potential capabilities or do better. The second one is issue of dysfunctional behavior might be apparent. The third one is resources needed for appointments has budget committee. The fourth one is budget's near limitation, where operations within set boundaries may affect encouraging results. The last one is time consuming. It is often difficult to implement it across organizations. Next, beyond budgeting. Beyond budgeting is a set of guiding principles that, if followed, will enable an organization to manage its performance and decentralize its decision-making process without the needs for traditional budgets. The purpose is to enable the organization to meet the success factors of the information of economy. It has been argued that budgeting process itself is limiting and unsuitable for business, especially in modern business environment. The idea is to abolish budget altogether based on criticism of budgeting. These are arguments for beyond budgeting. The first one is to compete in the information age. Companies need to be free from budgets. Second one is maximizing value of know-how rather than maximizing value of tangible asset. The third one is constantly changing business environment requires managers to act entrepreneurs, strategists, and decision makers. The last one is the budgeting system is too rigid such that it expires to change. Next, the advantages and drawbacks of beyond budgeting. The advantages are faster response, innovative strategies, lower cost, and more loyal customers. The drawback of beyond budgeting are there is a lack of a roadmap which details where a business is and where it wants to go. The next one is budget may be very deeply ingrained in an organization's fabric and operating culture. Next, there are 12 principles of beyond budgeting that has been divided into two, which are the leadership principle and the performance management principle. Under the leadership principle, the first one is creation of a performance management climate that measures success against the competition and not against an internally focused budget. The second one is motivation through challenges and transferring responsibility within clearly defined enterprise value. The third one is delegation of responsibility to operational manager who can make decisions themselves. The fourth one is empowerment of operational manager by giving them the means to act independently by access to resources. The next one is organization based on customer-oriented team who are responsible for satisfied and profitable customer. And the last one is creation of a single truth in the organization with open and transparent information system. Under the performance management principle, the first one is the target setting process is based on the agreement of targets which are linked to internal benchmarks. Next, the motivation and reward process is based on the success of the team compared to the competition. Next, strategy and action planning is delegated to operational managers and take place continuously. Next, the resource utilization process is based on direct local access to resources within agreed parameters. Next, the coordination process coordinates the use of resources on the basis of internal market. The last one is the measurement and controlling process provide quick and open performance information for multi-level control. Lastly, the performance reports of beyond budgeting. Performance measures should not be based on actual versus budget, but it should based on achieving strategic milestones, using relative measure example benchmark, and emphasis should be adding value rather than managing costs down. That's all from us. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.